Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. Even with these two bloggers, as you want to call them, even when they were found guilty of libel back in the lower court, they only needed to pay what? Less than £2,000. That was the fee, that was the fine. It was nothing. So for Brigitte to have taken them to court, she got more exposure doing that than any fine those two females could have gotten, and they didn't have to pay those fines because they appealed, and the appellate court ruled with them that they had a right via freedom of speech to say what they wanted to say about Brigitte. Now, the only thing that they could have said about Brigitte that should have held, I don't understand how a female that claims she has 3 kids could be accused of being born a man. I just don't understand where people are going with that. They said the same thing, or they say the same thing about Michelle Obama. They have haunted her with that born a man kind of thing. But anyhow, Brigitte, the only thing that would stick with her is her being a pedophile, because she's married to a guy. She's 25 years, almost 25 years his senior, and he was in her son's class when her son was in prep school, kids. And her defense of the matter was, she was married at the time, by the way. She was a married woman. He was a kid. And she was his teacher. 25 years, his senior. Do you know what 25-year senior means? That is old. That's grandmother, almost, age. But anyhow, she said she didn't want to miss out on her life. That's what she said when she gave up her marriage and she started seeing the young boy. He's like 47 years old now. She has to be over 70. Imagine that. He's 47 and he's married to someone who is over 70 years old. She was born in 1953. Ooh. And, that's the only thing that should stick with her. She is a pedophile. Okay, there's no doubt about that. She has admitted it. She is a pedophile, and saying that she didn't want to miss out on her life. Yeah. Or, what? Every pedophile says these particular words. Age is just a number. You've heard that, right? Age is just a number. You see those 5 words? Every pedophile, bar none, everyone repeats that. And that is something that R. Kelly used to say, age is just a number. He used to sing about that, age is just a number. So like I said, you had to make laws. You had to make laws for them not to pick up the baby out of the crib. You had to make laws. I know you're thinking that age is just a number, but don't touch them until they're 18. In certain parts, you could touch them like they're 16. In certain parts, 14. But you had to make laws. Laws had to be made because a male would take whatever is at his disposal, and then he would echo, well, it's not against the law. It's not against the law. Hence, laws were made. In fact, all laws were made to keep men from hurting women and children. I guess you've never heard that? Oh, really? Truly? All laws were made to protect women and children. All laws were made to protect women and children. And then other laws came in, and rules or regulations or whatever, it just spiraled up from there. But it was initially to protect women and children from the male population. So when they're talking about her being a male and the appeal court, the court of appeals, the people, the judges who sit on the benches there in that particular court are saying, hey, you can't charge them for libel, and you can't say that. They can say whatever they want to say. If it's their opinion or whatever, they can say whatever they wanted to say. But were I Brigitte Macron, I would have probably put out photos of me when I was pregnant if I were her. They say she has 3 children. So why would she not put out photos of a flood? If she's litigious, she's suing people and she's saying it's embarrassing. So if it's all that, why not put out photos of yourself, Brigitte, when you were pregnant? Everybody has pregnant photos. Every female who has been pregnant has pregnancy photos and photos of them holding the young baby in the hospital, blah. You should have photos like that. Just put those out. Just put those out and stop with the taking people to court for saying that you are born a man. You know, she's kept thin. She's thin, thin as a rail. So that has helped her, but still not helped her because, you know, it's something called gravity, gravity. And you've seen her recently rejecting the husband. And usually when a guy marries an older female, usually he's bent. Usually he has some swag. Usually there's some sugar in his tank. Usually that's the case. Usually he's hiding behind what he really is and, you know, who he really wants to be. He picks an older female and he stays there as long as he needs to, you know, hidden in that particular relationship. But then on the side and in the darkness of night, you know, he'll get his freak on with, you know, same sex kind of thing. Usually when guys are in relationships like that, you know, with like his mother or his like a young grandmother, yeah, they usually, you know, what we call it, down low, undercover, that kind of stuff. Usually they have a different lifestyle when in their secret time, when the cameras are not on them and when they can do it, they have a secret, they have another kind of life that they live, okay? But Brigitte needs to stop suing people. And if she's with 40, she's 71 years old-ish. If she's that old and he's reaching for her to hold her hand when they're out in public, it's a contract. You signed on for that. You signed on for all the glam, all the glitter, and all the power. You signed on for that. So just hold the man's hand. Just hold the husband's hand. He's the president of France. Just hold his hand and put on the show when people are, you know, looking at you and taking photos of you. So embarrassing. The guy is embarrassing enough for him that he's with you. My opinion, I would be embarrassed. In fact, I will not be embarrassed because I will not be caught dead in a situation like that. I will not be caught dead, even as a female, to be with a guy who's 25 years. Hell no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. It cannot happen. It will not happen. Can't happen. So there should be some level of embarrassment for him, but he has handled himself well. It's time for you, Brigitte, to handle yourself well, okay? Just handle yourself well when you're out there in public and stop like slapping the man all over his face and when he reaches for you to help you down, you know, you fanning him off and all that kind of stuff, and stop taking people to court. Put up some pregnancy photos when you were pregnant and when you had that little baby in your hand, you know, rocking and whatever. Put those photos up and, you know, tend to yourself, okay? This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.